Okay, we're going to talk about quarterly data because this is the data that you're dealing with your assessments. Quarterly data. Now, this is data that is visitors to New Zealand from Japan. Okay, that's what this is. And we can see the trend line in red, and we can see approximately where the trend line starts and where it finishes. There's obviously a decrease in the number of visitors between. Now, it's hard to know what this time frame is here because it starts at 2000, but the actual trend line doesn't start at 2000, year 2000. It seems to start earlier, and it goes from around, looks like about 5,900 visitors, all the way down to about 4,400 visitors in 2012. We can sort of see that quite easily, but you have to understand that I'm not sure exactly what this is, and you have to also understand that this time frame of your trend line is only showing years, but this is in fact quarterly data. So when you talk about this data, you should talk about per quarter. This is what it is per quarter, and so on. Now, since I can't really see where that time frame is, one of the best things to do is to go back into your Ensight and figure out where exactly this data starts. Okay, where does it exactly start? So I can see pretty plainly that this data starts in 1998, in the fourth quarter of 1998. And for Japan visitors, that's the value. So we estimated that from the graph, that's fine. And finishes off in the first quarter of 2012 here. All right, so you might need to go into your data set from Ensight to get these exact values if it's not clear off your trend line. Do that, that's important. Now, so when you talk about the long-term trend, you've got a decrease of about 5,900 visitors in the fourth quarter of 1998 to 4,400 around in 2012. It's a decrease. That's the overall trend, basically. You can be as specific about that as you want. So that's how we speak of the long-term trend. So that's the first thing you've got to do. The second thing that you've got to do is a rate. Now, I think if it's quarterly data, from what I've seen of the exemplars, if it's quarterly data, you should make your rate per quarter. Now, how do we do that per quarter? Well, you take that difference, which is 5,900, minus the 4,400, and you're going to get 1,500, a decrease of 1,500 visitors over the time. Now, to turn that into a rate, we're going to take the 1,500. Now, we're going to divide it, and if we're going to put it into quarters per quarter, then let's figure out how many quarters there are. Fourth quarter 1998 to the first quarter of 2012, there's 54 of those. So if we go on our calculator and we calculate 1,500, a decrease, divided by 54, we get a decrease of about 28 visitors per quarter. So your statement is that there's a decrease of 28 visitors per quarter. I think that's the best way to do that, per quarter. Now, remember, let's just get rid of that for a second. Let's go back. Oops, let's go back to the graph. Remember, there's a lot more going on. So the first thing is you do the overall trend, right, from beginning to end. Overall, what's going on? It's a decrease. Goes from here to here, and it's a decrease. Now turn that into a rate per quarter. You got a rate. Third thing you should talk about this graph and what's going on in this graph. There's actually like 3 sections to this graph. It's going up from here to here, it's going steeply down from here to here, and then it seems to be leveling out. Now this is just what's going on in the trend. We're not talking about the seasonal effect. You need to talk about all 3 things to have a complete trend. You need to talk about the overall trend, what's going on from the beginning to the end. You need to talk about the rate, and if it's quarterly data, then you should do it per quarter. And you need to talk about what's going on as the time goes on with the trend.